The walk of shame has arrived for Alex Kurtzman, the man many blame for destroying Star Trek. Who's it coming from? Well, none other than the Ellisons, and it's happening at San Diego Comic-Con. Is this why California insists on destroying their hopes and dreams of buying Warner Brothers? Today we'll tell you what's new with Star Trek and why it's unlike anything we've seen before, especially with Star Wars. Paramount, Skydance, the Ellisons have had enough of Alex Kurtzman, and now San Diego Comic-Con is going to be used as a shaming experience for Kurtzman. No, really, truly, I mean it. Here we go. Book and Film Globe has this one. The Kurtzman era of Star Trek boldly goes into the trash can. How to understand the demise of New Trek. This is by William Schwartz. It says, earlier this year, Paramount unceremoniously destroyed all of its Star Trek sets. You bet. And by the way, Gary of Nerdrotic got one of those chairs. I was in the running. I wanted the chair. Gary beat me. Darn you, Gary. While the New Trek era of Star Trek isn't quite over yet, the fourth season of Strange Worlds comes out on July 23rd. For now, new Paramount has given up on the franchise. That's changing today. The ongoing merger drama at Paramount is at least part of the problem. It's impossible to guess at this point who's going to be running Paramount this time next year. It really isn't. It will be the Ellisons, and they'll own Warner Brothers, Discovery, CNN, everything else too. And they might not be in California. It says greenlighting new Trek projects was a messy business even before these executive ambitions. That's one reason why no one was able to make a fourth reboot film. Alex Kurtzman, who wrote the first reboot film in 2009, was put in charge of new Trek production to streamline the process. But the effective cancellation of his era of the franchise isn't a vote of confidence that he ever really knew what was going on. So what went wrong? Well, folks, you know what went wrong. We don't need to talk about it. What we do need to talk about is they're rebooting Star Trek, and they're going to do it mocking, I believe, Alex Kurtzman right to his face. The Wrap has this, how Star Trek fell from streaming anchor to stuck in limbo. Roger Cheng is writing this, and there's only one part of this article that I need, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, it's a strange time for Star Trek. On Thursday, the fourth season of the much-lauded Star Trek Strange New Worlds kicks off. And on Saturday, now remember, this is a canceled show that they've demoed the set. Everything Alex Kurtzman has been involved in has been destroyed. It's over. But it says on Thursday, debut, right? And on Saturday, that's tomorrow, it's cast and the architect of this generation's Trek shows, Alex Kurtzman, will be in San Diego at Comic-Con to celebrate the franchise's 60th anniversary. It says there's more Trek to come with another season of Strange Worlds, canceled. And the second season of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, canceled. All right? But he's going to be there. He's going to be at the 60th anniversary. Well, guess what just happened for Star Trek? See, you've been asking, when is Hollywood going to pay? When will they finally, when will it go down? It's going down right now. Collider is reporting, and probably with much chagrin. New Star Trek movie gets first official details from writers. Rob London, guess who's not involved in this? The future is an undiscovered country for fans of Star Trek these days. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has begun its last full-length season. Starfleet Academy will end its second season, and it's, by the way, over. Meanwhile, on the big screen, the franchise hasn't made it to the multiplex since 2016 Star Trek Beyond. However, there may be hope on the horizon as Game Night's Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly are working, this has just been announced, working on a new big screen version of the long-running science fiction franchise. Collider's Steve Weintraub hosted the duo on a panel of directors at San Diego Comic-Con, and it says this evening from yesterday, and Samantha Coley was there to report on all the new details. The duo says that the script is in progress. They're very excited about it, and they think people will be surprised by it. In a first for Star Trek, the movie will center around a group of all new characters. Previous Star Trek films have either reunited the cast, or in the case of the recent trilogy, recast a new crop of actors as the originals. This time it's set further in the future than we've ever been before. That indicates it's going to be a break with the stories of the past. Oh my, everything is being thrown aside for John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein to come in. This is something that is breaking. People are finding this out. And where did they find it out? At San Diego Comic-Con. Now, why does this matter? Anthony Pasquale, by the way, writing this over at Trek Movie. Here's why this matters. Because Alex Kurtzman is walking in now to a Saturday panel celebrating Star Trek, and all his Star Trek is done. It's over. It went woke. It went totally broke. And he is going to a San Diego Comic-Con where all the news is these two guys are in charge. Star Trek is being rebooted. Star Trek is being reset. Whatever that might mean. They're not doing away with the original series. They're not doing away with the Next Generation. But the Kurtzman era has been trashed, and Kurtzman is going to be forced to sit there at San Diego Comic-Con on the panel as these guys take over the baton. Steve, we've been waiting. People have been saying, when are we going to get that moment? When do we see a company do to Kathleen Kennedy what we think should be done, which is to kick her on out of there? When are these companies going to be forced to admit that go broke is still real? The Odyssey has kind of muddied that up a little bit. But Steve, at Star Trek, finally, this is happening. Kurtzman is going to walk the walk of shame at San Diego Comic-Con. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, obviously, it's not going to be shame in the way that necessarily real Star Trek fans want it to be.
You want the stockade, Steve? You want to put his head through the thing?
I think they want to see him perp walked out of there. I think that's what the fans want to see.
No paddles will be involved in this, Steve.
Or tomatoes, apparently. But
well, you never know about the tomato. Go ahead.
That's true. But I mean, obviously, this is if they're doing it tonight, because that's what the article just said is tonight.
Saturday's the Kurtzman panel.
Yes, but the other panel is tonight, or was it yesterday? So
yesterday was the two guys who were writing the new Star Trek movie that has no connection to anything.
Yeah.
And to the best of our knowledge, Kurtzman had no idea that they're writing the movie. There was a tacit movie off in the ether somewhere that they talked about back in December.
Yeah.
But here he's like, Kurtzman is coming in to celebrate Star Trek and might think he can get another show at some point. And here come these guys who are like, oh, by the way, it's ours now.
Because that moment of shame will essentially be if the question is asked, what involvement do you have in this new movie? Right. And if obviously, however he responds to that question will determine the level
he has none. I can tell you. He has none.
But he might try to save his bacon and be like, well, I think they're gonna consult me. Right. Like there might be something like that. Right. So he's not gonna probably walk away because we know that he cares too much about his ego.
Yeah.
And so he's going to do whatever he can to save face. But obviously, this is the turning of the ship that we've been wanting to see. The fact that the Ellisons are coming in and things are already changing because everyone's preparing for it.
And this is what California, because this is what California is terrified of. This is why they're trying to stop it.
But it's the turning of the ship that's so quick. Because oftentimes we say that ships that are so big take a long time to turn. If what we're hearing behind the scenes about Paramount is true, that means that these big ships can turn quick. It's just that the crew aren't on board, and so it's going to be interesting to see the fallout because the fans are going to rejoice, but it's not going to get the coverage that it really is due. So a lot of this is going to be, if they play their cards smart, is going to be grassroots pushed, which ultimately that's what Star Trek really should be anyway. But you're seeing the return to form. That most of the stuff that's successful, it's because the fans actually liked it. It's because if I remember correctly, like Hollywood wasn't really all that intrigued with Jaws. But Jaws became the first blockbuster because the fans actually wanted to see it. So,
well, what's impressive to me about that speed of the ship is that for this to have happened the way it's happening, this decision had to have been made, Culture, while they were in production on the second season of the latest thing, and they destroyed the Starfleet Academy. They destroyed the sets as soon as it was over. So the Ellisons at Paramount, for whatever you might think about them, however you may think they messed up, maybe they should have had a closer eye on it. They're rushing to kick Kurtzman to the curb, and he's got to sit there and deal with this now. I don't know much about these two guys' Culture, but I do know that they are making a movie set in a brand new era, and I would imagine that kicks off a new era of Star Trek. So I'm considering this a soft reboot. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think the Ellisons are coming. and you have that being shouted, by someone who's mounted on horseback, riding from town to town to deliver some interesting news. And look, regardless of what you think of these writers, we now know that there is a different direction ahead. But this was all quite predictable. I think we saw the writing on the wall, as does everybody else, including even Variety out there, who is now recognized.
Well, real quick, Culture, let me tell you this. The thing that Jonathan Goldstein is known for, they've got this kind of, I don't like the way the articles have said this. He is not most known for something called Game Night. I mean, that's just, he's the writer on Spider-Man Homecoming. That's what he's known for. That's who the Ellisons have picked up.
Well, the Game Night wasn't really as well received as Homecoming. I would
right.
Imagine. Yeah, and again, that was kind of a slapstick kind of a comedy with like a horror twist or something. It was very strange, but and I didn't really get into it. But regardless, look, all of these entities are now having to come to grips with the fact that it's inevitable. Ron Bonta, or whatever that crazy nut AG is in California, whatever he wants everybody to believe that, they're going to stop the Ellisons and they're going to stop this merger, and they're not. This is already a done deal. The Europeans have given up on trying to control it, and everybody else out there right now understands what's coming. I'm very excited for what the future holds for Star Trek, because the possibilities are endless. And the fact that, Warner Brothers Discovery gave up on this they didn't have any pushback against what Ellisons were trying to push for to begin with. I mean, think about that. Nobody involved in this was wanting to push back. Am I correct in that, or am I wrong? Warner Brothers didn't have a say in this, did they?
No, Warner Brothers. But let me ask you about that, Culture, because this is what we've been waiting for. This is the comeuppance. Like, this is saying you've destroyed the franchise. You're going to go sit on a panel, and 2 days before, we're going to break the news. You're done, and these are the new guys, but come sit with us for a little bit. That's what's happening to Kurtzman. But Culture, what I think about this is, I wonder if this is what California fears so much. This is why they're trying to stop Paramount from buying Warner Brothers, because they don't want to see James Gunn done the same way the next time. California has a political persuasion, and they are determined to stop the Ellisons from coming in and moving these things back to the middle where they can make money.
Well, and that brings Variety and PMC Media Group into the conversation, because here you have the 3 of the 4 trade papers owned by one company, PMC, right? Penske Media Group, or Penske Media Corp, or whatever you want to call them. They own the 3 biggest trades. The Wrap is owned by Susan Waxman, and that thing's kind of, fallen off a cliff, but that's a different conversation now. But I look at it and I go, well, PMC has a particular political leaning. They are now expanding their partnership with Variety, which is something I talked about this morning on my show. And all at the time when this merger is about to close. And, their political influence is going to have to shift. If everybody comes back to the sensible center, and that includes Paramount, I think we have a lot of positive on the horizon. And I think we're going to get a politically agnostic future, perhaps, in Hollywood, like we should have had for the last 2 decades.
So my question is, what impact is this going to actually have on the Saturday morning panel? Because if
questions are asked, Kurtzman's going to be asked about this. There's no doubt.
Oh, no. I mean more like, what's going to happen with the crowd, right? Because is that crowd just going to diminish even more? Because obviously, this is done, right?
Oh no, because they
don't have to be invested anymore in the Saturday morning.
No, it's a celebration of Star Trek, the 60th anniversary. So it's going to be a big deal. Like, Kurtzman has been sabotaged by this because he's on that panel, and it's not just him. It's like everything Star Trek. This is a huge San Diego Comic-Con panel where it's like a celebration of everything.
But like Shatner's not going to be there. Like, this is all just new Trek.
Well, I don't know. Shatner, listen, I can't tell you. Shatner's 96. I can't tell you if Shatner will be there or not. But if they have any sense about them, they would have invited him. But I can't tell you that he'll be there.
There's also like all the other TNG people that they could invite.
Sure. So and many of them will be there. Yeah,
they will be. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure. Like, because
it's not just a Kurtzman thing. Okay. But Kurtzman's going to be sitting there with this news now hanging. Now, I want to address this. People are saying that they have no confidence in these guys that have been selected. Listen, I need to explain the process here. These guys, they've been selected to draft up the script. That doesn't mean that they're the final guys who do this. If it's a good script, then the Ellisons probably bring in somebody of great repute to polish the thing, and then they find a director, etc. I don't know that these guys are going to see it all the way to the end. They do have some hits. They do have some losses. Dungeons and Dragons, I have heard was a decent film, was not well received financially. Right, exactly, Culture. Spider-Man Homecoming, grand slam for them. But I would hesitate to condemn them on some of their earlier work because you got to start somewhere. And in Hollywood, especially if you've been a white guy the last 10 years, starting really small and getting really, itsy-bitsy projects to work on, is not surprising that they came up through the system and have worked their way there. So I would just caution people, don't dive on these guys and hate on them just yet. Culture, I'm going to give you the final word on it. People have been waiting a long time for Alex Kurtzman to be officially gone. He's gone.
Yeah, and I think that bodes well for us. I mean, Warner's doesn't have the J.J. Abrams deal hanging over their heads. Paramount no longer has the what do you call them? The disciple of Kurtzman, hanging over their heads. This is a good day for the people who appreciate materials that are coming out of both of these enormous studios, and the fact that they're going to be partnered together, and these resources and the access to creatives and money and opportunity and sound stages and locations and all of this is going to be diversified. I'm excited about not just Star Trek's future, but maybe all of film.
I'll tell you who I wish they would get involved. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'd be a happy guy if tomorrow we find out that, hey, it's not just these two guys. We're bringing in like Seth MacFarlane to help us with Star Trek. I'd be on board with that. I'd be excited about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And I think that I'm just going to say it this way. I'm very excited about the future, and I'm open to them bringing in high quality creatives for the future. And I really wish that Orsi had not passed away, because at the time when Orsi was a balance for Kurtzman, there was a better horizon for that team. Hopefully this team comes in and does something great. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do anything but wait very positively for what I get to see in the future.
That's right. Folks, you may have wanted a funeral for Kathleen Kennedy's career at a Star Wars celebration. You didn't get it. We told you weren't going to get it. But guess what? Alex Kurtzman is getting just that at San Diego Comic-Con tomorrow.
Oh, hey, did you hear that WDW Pro will be posting one video every weekday morning on the That Park Place YouTube channel all through the month of July?
Really? No, I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah, it's like a promo thing for That Park Place and a chance for him to get back to his theme park roots.
Wait a minute. Is Pro getting all sentimental? Is Pro actually a woman? Doesn't matter. I already turned off my notifications for the Pro channel, because he does like 15 videos a day.
He does like 4 videos a day. 8:30 a.m., 12:30, 4:30, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You really shouldn't turn off the notifications.
Maybe, and maybe I'll check out WDW Pro on That Park Place every weekday in July. But I kind of doubt it.
You really don't have anything better to do.
Sure I do. I'm a very busy troll.
Like what?
Who do you think actually keeps giving those thumb drives to Mike Zero?
Oh
no. Okay, Coco. Let's go over the line just one more time.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Zero. I found this abandoned Lucasfilm rewritable CD in an abandoned Blockbuster video dumpster. With a half-burned carton of cigs and a gold Milton, I can't say this.